Mister, don't move. You're bleeding really bad. 8-year-old Maya Rodriguez's voice shook as she dropped her old backpack onto the gravel and hurried toward the man lying beside the wrecked Harley. His leather vest had patches she didn't understand, skulls, wings, the words Hell's Angels, the kind of symbols that made adults whisper and avoid eye contact. But all Maya could see was blood. A lot of blood. The man's eyes opened slowly, full of pain. His leg was twisted in a way that made her stomach spin, bone pushing against his torn jeans, and a deep cut on his forehead kept spilling red down his face and onto his vest. Kid, run. Not safe here, he whispered. But Maya didn't run. She pressed her small hands against the cut on his head, her pink jacket sleeve soaking up blood. I'm not leaving you. You'll die if I go. Courage doesn't count the cost. These are the stories that remind us that heroes can come in small sizes. The sun burned hot over the empty stretch of Route 9 outside Bakersfield. Maya had been walking home from school, taking her usual shortcut past the old warehouses. Her mom worked 2 jobs and came home late, and her brother had football practice. Maya knew this path well. Fence line, warehouses, 3 blocks, then home. She heard the crash from 2 blocks away, the tires screeching, the metal smashing, and then silence. Most kids would have run the other direction, but Maya's mom always said that when someone needed help, you helped. So she ran toward the noise. Now she was kneeling in glass and oil with her school clothes ruined, pressing her jacket to a stranger's head while his motorcycle leaked dark fluid on the road like it was bleeding too. What's your name? She asked, like she'd seen people do on TV. I'm Maya. I'm 8. What's your name? The man blinked hard. Reaper. They call me Reaper. That's a scary name, Maya said honestly. But you don't look scary now. You look hurt. He tried to laugh, but ended up coughing. Smart kid, too smart to be helping me. Why? Maya looked at his vest again. Because of your jacket? Because of what I am. His hand moved weakly to the patches. These mean I'm dangerous. Your mom probably told you to stay away from people like me. Maya thought about it. Her mom had warned her about strangers, about bad people, about danger. But she'd also said that when someone was bleeding and alone, you didn't walk away. My mom says everyone deserves help when they're hurting, she said, even the scary ones. Reaper's eyes softened. Your mom raised you right, kid. Maya looked around desperately. The road was empty. No traffic, no people, just warehouses with broken windows and an old phone booth 2 blocks away that might not even work. I'm going to get help, Maya said. But you have to promise not to die while I'm gone. Can't promise that, little girl. Yes, you can, she insisted, panic rising in her voice. I'll run fast, I'll call 911, I'll come back, but you have to stay alive. Promise. Something in her shaky voice made him focus. He lifted one tattooed finger. Pinky promise. I'll try. Maya hooked her little pinky around his, and she put her homework folder against his cut. Hold this. Press hard. I'll be right back. She ran faster than she ever had. The phone booth was old, covered in graffiti, the receiver hanging loose, but it worked. Her hand shook as she dialed 911 twice before getting it right. A man crashed his motorcycle, she cried. He's bleeding a lot, and he's by the warehouses on Route 9, near Miller Street. Please send help. We're sending an ambulance. Are you safe? I'm alone, and he's alone, and you have to hurry. She slammed the phone down and ran back. Reaper was still awake, which felt like a miracle. He had kept her homework folder pressed to his head, now soaked through. I called 911, she said, kneeling beside him again. You kept your promise. So far, he whispered weakly. Good kid, brave kid. I'm not brave, Maya said through tears. I am scared. What if you die before they get here? Then you still did everything right. What's your last name? Maya Rodriguez. Why? Need to remember it. Need to thank you if I. He coughed hard, blood specking his lips. You'll make it, Maya said fiercely. You promised. Sirens grew louder. Maya had never felt happier to hear them. Paramedics rushed in, checking his pulse, starting IVs, securing his neck. They tried to pull Maya back, but Reaper held her hand tightly. She stays, she's my angel. The paramedics hesitated, then let her stay. They put him on a stretcher, and Maya walked beside him, still holding his hand. You'll be okay, she said. The doctors will help you. Already helped me. Kid, you already saved me. As they loaded him into the ambulance, a paramedic gently separated Maya's hand from his. You did good, sweetheart. You saved his life. Maya watched the ambulance drive away, lights flashing. She stood in the road, covered in his blood, her homework destroyed, her jacket ruined, feeling something she'd never felt before, the weight of knowing she mattered. A police officer knelt beside her. You okay, honey? That was very brave. Let's call you Mom. Maya nodded, tired suddenly. As they walked to the police car, she looked back at the wrecked bike and whispered, Stay alive, Mr. Reaper. Please. 20 minutes later, Maya's mom, Carmen, burst into the police station, terrified. She ran to Maya and hugged her so tight Maya could barely breathe. They said you were in an accident. You were covered in blood. I'm okay, Mama, Maya said softly. It wasn't my blood. The officer came over. Mrs. Rodriguez, your daughter saved a man's life today. Bad crash, internal bleeding. She found him, called 911, stayed with him. Carmen stared at her daughter. You did what? He was hurt, Mama. Really hurt. I remember what you said about helping. I also said stay safe, Carmen said, voice shaking. What if someone dangerous was there? What if, Mrs. Rodriguez, the officer said gently, the man she saved is Reaper, president of the Hells Angels chapter here. If she hadn't helped, he'd be dead. Carmen went pale. Hells Angels? You helped a biker? He's a person, Mama, Maya said quietly. He was bleeding. The officer added the hospital called. He's in surgery, but stable. He asked about Maya before they put him under. Wanted to be sure she was safe. Carmen drove Maya home in silence. At home, she cleaned Maya up, tried to wash the blood from her jacket, then gave up and threw it away. Later, Maya came out in pajamas. Mama, are you mad? Carmen looked exhausted. No, mija. I am scared. I am proud. I am confused. You're 8, and you did something even adults don't do. He would have died, Mama. I know. Carmen hugged her tight. You did the right thing, but you scared me. That night, Maya lay awake thinking of Reaper, his voice, his hand, the way he called her angel. No one had ever said that to her. She was just Maya, an ordinary girl who forgot chores and argued with her brother. But today, she mattered to someone. The next morning was normal. Eggs, complaining, the TV on. Then Maya heard it, a deep rumble rolling through the streets like thunder. A low rumble rolled through the neighborhood like distant thunder, building until the windows shook and the cups in the cupboard rattled. Diego rushed to the window first, his voice catching as he tried not to curse. Mama, you need to see this. Carmen joined him, and her hand flew to her mouth in shock. Maya climbed onto the couch to peek through the glass. The entire street outside their small apartment was lined with motorcycles, dozens and dozens of them, maybe close to 100. Every bike was a Harley, polished metal shining under the morning sun. and beside each one stood a man wearing a black leather vest with the same patch as Maya had seen on Reaper the day before. Hell's Angels. They weren't shouting or causing trouble. They just stood still, engines off, a silent wall of leather and chrome waiting for something. Neighbors stepped out onto balconies, holding their phones up, whispering nervously. Carmen pulled Maya close. Stay inside, away from the windows. But then came a knock. Firm, steady, not threatening. Carmen went to answer, but Diego reached the door first. His confidence faded the moment he opened it. 6 huge men stood there, each one tall and broad, every vest marked with the angel's symbols. The man in front, older with a gray beard and calm eyes, removed his sunglasses politely. "Mrs. Rodriguez," he said with surprising gentleness, "I'm Bull, Vice President of the Central California chapter. We're here to see Maya." Carmen moved in front of her daughter, protective. "Why?" Bull's face softened. "Because your little girl saved the life of our president yesterday. We don't forget things like that." Another man, younger and covered in tattoos, added quietly, "The doctor said 10 more minutes and Reaper wouldn't have made it. Your daughter gave him those 10 minutes." Carmen's hand shook on the door. "I'm glad he survived, but we don't want any trouble." "Ma'am, we're not here to bring trouble," Bull said. "We're here to show respect." Maya gently stepped around her mom. "I'm Maya." The bikers stared at this tiny 8-year-old in her school clothes, and their expressions changed completely. These men who looked like they belonged in scary stories suddenly looked humbled. Bull knelt so he could meet her eyes. "You stayed with him," he said softly. "Most grown men wouldn't have done what you did. You kept him alive when he didn't have anyone else. Is he really okay?" Maya asked. Bull smiled. "He's going to live because of you." He reached into his vest and pulled out a small patch, a silver wing with the words "Little Angel" stitched in red. "Reaper made this for you. Custom. Means you're under our protection from now on." Maya blinked. I don't understand." "It means," another biker said gruffly, "you're family now. Anyone ever messes with you, they deal with us." Bull handed Carmen a card. "My number. Day or night. Your daughter is one of us now. Not in a bad way, but in a we look out for her way. It's our code." Carmen looked at the patch in her daughter's hand, then at the crowd of silent bikers filling the street. Maya stared at the patch as if it was made of magic. "Thank you," Carmen whispered, still overwhelmed, "for coming here peacefully and for telling us he's okay." Bull stood up. "We'll head out now." "But ma'am, that patch isn't just a gift. It's a promise." One by one, the bikers returned to their motorcycles. Neighbors kept filming, unsure of what they were witnessing. Maya held the patch to her chest as she watched the men move. One young biker paused before climbing on his bike and called out, "You're our hero, kid." Then every engine roared to life at the same moment, shaking the whole block. The sound was overwhelming, like standing in the middle of a storm. And just like that, they rode away, leaving behind the little girl who had changed everything without even knowing it. Diego stared at Maya like he was seeing her for the first time. That was the coolest thing ever. Carmen hugged Maya so tightly she could barely breathe, clutching the little angel patch between her hands, grateful and terrified all at once. Life shifted for Maya after that. At school, kids whispered and pointed. Teachers smiled at her differently. She was on the local news, 8-year-old saves biker president. But Maya didn't enjoy the attention. What happened on that road still felt too personal to turn into a story for laughs. When her teacher assigned an essay about courage, Maya wrote honestly about fear, how her hands had shaken, how her heart had felt like it would burst, how she stayed anyway because someone needed her. Her teacher left a note saying most adults never understood courage as clearly as Maya did. The little angel patch stayed framed on her dresser. Carmen had wanted to hide it, worried what people would think, but Maya kept it where she could see it. She had earned it. 3 weeks later, Bull called again. Reaper's getting out of the hospital tomorrow. He'd like to see her. Carmen hesitated, but when she saw Maya's hopeful eyes, she agreed, only if she came along. The hospital room was filled with balloons and flowers from bikers across the country. Reaper sat in bed, leg in a cast, head wrapped, but alive, fully alive. When Maya walked in, he brightened like the sun had just come up. "There's my angel," he murmured. Maya came closer shyly. He looked different without the blood. Softer, older, human. "Hi, Mr. Reaper," she whispered. "Are you better now?" Reaper held out his hand, and she took it gently. "Because of you, kid. I'm here because you wouldn't leave me. I didn't want you to die," she said quietly. "I didn't care who you were. You were hurt." Reaper's eyes watered. He looked at Carmen. "Ma'am, thank you for letting her stop for me. People think we're monsters, but I swear on everything I've got, no one in my world will ever harm your daughter or your family. That's a promise I don't break." Carmen nodded. "Thank you." Reaper then reached for a bag and pulled out a small leather jacket. Beautiful, soft, with a silver wing on the back stitched with the words "Little Angel." "For when you're older," he said. "No club symbols. Nothing dangerous. Just a reminder that you were brave when a man needed you most." Maya touched the wing gently. "It's beautiful. You deserve it," he said. "You gave me a second chance. I won't waste it." They talked about school, weather, life. No big speeches, just quiet understanding. When Maya left, Reaper called out, "You ever need anything, you call Bull. You've got 100 brothers now." Maya hugged him softly. "Get better, Mr. Reaper. Already working on it." "Angel," he said. 6 months passed. Life looked normal, but it wasn't the same. Maya kept the jacket safe in her closet and sometimes touched the wing just to remind herself it wasn't a dream. And quietly, the world shifted around her. A group tried to pressure her cousin Diego into trouble, until a conversation with a stranger made them disappear. When Carmen's car broke down at night, Bull arrived in 20 minutes with a tow truck, refused money, and got them home safely. When the school needed money for a new playground, a donation appeared. The Little Angel Fund, $10,000. Reaper visited sometimes, walking slow with a cane. They talked about choices, respect, loyalty. "You taught me something that day," he told her once. "Courage isn't about patches or engines. It's about the heart. You had more courage in your 8-year-old hands than I had in my whole life." A year after the accident, the bikes came back, but this time they brought supplies for families, toys for kids, backpacks, scholarships. They didn't bring fear. They brought help. Bull spoke to the crowd with Maya beside him. "A year ago, this kid showed us what courage looks like. She didn't see a criminal. She saw a human being. Today we honor that by helping this community the way she helped one of us." People looked at the bikers differently after that. Less fear, more understanding. Reaper stood beside Maya. "You caused this," he whispered. "No," she said softly. "I just didn't want you to die." He smiled, and that changed everything. Years slipped by. Maya turned 13. During a school event about leadership, she walked onto the stage wearing the little angel jacket, now fitting perfectly. "When I was 8, she began, "I found a man hurt on the road. I was scared, but I stayed. Not because I wasn't afraid, because it felt wrong to leave him." She spoke about compassion and how one act of courage can change lives. The students cheered, and at the back of the room, Reaper watched proudly. Outside, his motorcycle waited, and on the seat sat a helmet just her size. "You're 13 now," he said. "Old enough for your first ride, if your mom agrees." Carmen hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Bring her back safe." "Always," Reaper promised. Maya climbed on behind him. The engine roared, loud and powerful, but instead of sounding scary, it sounded like freedom. They rode off into the bright afternoon. A biker and the girl who once saved his life. Proof that kindness can change more than one day. It can change people, families, even whole communities. Because bravery isn't always loud or fearless. Sometimes it's choosing to stay when it would have been easier to run. And sometimes family is found in the most unexpected places.